in any successful operation across the globe, you realize that when we can describe an operation successful, it's when you can minimize as much casualties as it can get. But reports of our soldiers, whether they are within or outside the country, ignoring intelligence reports, it's very worrying. Because it is not once, it's not twice that we are told intelligence was offered to people who were supposed to act on it. But they didn't. A senior general of the Somali National Army, SNA, has told or has spoken about that KDF were actually briefed of intelligence that those guys, the militants, were around all over, that they were seen by locals some kilometers away from the base, that they were having, weapons of whom they think that these guys might be headed towards this camp. Unfortunately, those kind of things, if they were to be taken seriously, I think the number of casualties or the destruction those Al-Shabaab militias have caused will have minimized. Because we were told that even in the country here, the HOD, those kind of things are normally, communicated to the soldiers at the base and their commanders. Then they prepare themselves. Because the way things happen, things look very bleak. Someone might have slept on the job. When Kenya moved into Somalia, the famous Operation Linda Inchi in October 2011, Kenyans were very happy about it because the militias or the terror groups, Al-Shabaab, have conducted so many, kidnappings of tourists. And as we know, tourism is, backbone of this country. That time, many of us thought that actually Kenya has really, done the right thing. But more than 4 years down the line, for the number of Kenyans that were killed as a result of that war is staggering. It's not in Peketoni, it's not Garissa University, it is not Mandera, it's not Westgate, it's not the latest. I think pundits will ask themselves, is the Kenya's continued presence in Somalia still viable? But then others will tell you that retreating or going out of Somalia right now is ill-advised because it will send a message that actually you are defeated. One way of defeating the enemy or the terrorists is to continue fighting them despite the challenges, despite the latest shortcomings. You should not tell them that, hey, now that you have killed many of us, then we'll go back. I don't think whether that is the solution right now. But what we need right now is to put our acts together. Find ways in which we can better deal with Al-Shabaab in and outside the country. We better make use of our intelligence services all over. We must make use of our local networks. One problem we have, especially in Northeastern, is that there is a disconnect between the local population and our security forces. In those areas, those things are absent. KDF maybe is seen as aggressors. The police are seen as people who are out to harm them. I think Kenya needs to, to repair their relationships with the locals, use them as a weapon, as a silent weapon, because intelligence is the best approach in order to win a war against an enemy. The operation, as the senior officials in government said, is very delicate because we are informed that the number of KDF soldiers that were in that base were about 240. Of course, that remains to be confirmed because all the officials in the government are tight-lipped. And we also told that a number of Kenyan soldiers are being held as a human shield. That is now the tricky part of the whole thing. They have them alive just to make sure that they are not attacked. But then all over the world we have seen captives who are in the hands of the enemy being rescued. I don't know whether Kenya can do that, but the government needs to be proactive in disseminating information on those guys. But we hope for the best. We hope for the best.